this woman, world indoor record of 49.26. Just one outing over, one lap of the track without the barriers. 50.11 in Hengelo 2 weeks ago. Can her championship record go down here?
So, Kazmarek of Poland in 7th. The European silver medal.
Well, Belongo has started very strongly indeed. Also running well at this stage. Amma Pippi
Down the back straight. Keep an eye
just
on
inside Femke Bol. But Femke Bol has the talent to keep driving all the way to the line as the rest tire. Kazmarek now ran a very good back straight. Kazmarek loves this track. Ran her personal best there just 2 weeks ago. And now it's Kazmarek and Belongo still on the outside running well. But Bol has swept around the curve and moved into the lead almost effortlessly. Now Bol starting to pick up. She's still accelerating as the others tire. Kazmarek trying to chase her down, but it's in vain because it's going to be Femke Bol and a championship record unofficially 49.82. Another accolade to the outstanding Dutchwoman, the reigning European Athletes of the Year, once again flies home and takes the first place for the Netherlands. She really does rise to the occasion when the Dutch really require her to.
It's brilliant to have her here, and you know what an A-list billing it is between Kazmarek and Bol. You just wondered whether home advantage would count, but Femke Bol, I suppose in effect that would have pushed her to a magnificent performance. And sometimes you wonder, you see her performances indoors and you think, is she a 400 hurdler? Is she a 400 metre runner? Is she both? I think we definitely have to say that she is now. I mean, yeah, it's just sometimes the 400 metres is a really tough event to run indoors. She's rewritten the records, and she's rewritten another one here with that championship record under 50 seconds once again. What a phenomenal generational talent.
Netherlands on the top at the moment.
There's the result. Femke Bol, the third championship record of this week in Poland, 49.82. Natalia Kazmarek on the best times of her career, 50.34. Cynthia Belongo in third in that A race.
This young man, Havard Bendal Ingevoldsen, 44.86. National record at the recent Bislett Games. This could be the perfect time to produce an excellent performance on that journey. Kanyal, Borley, Sanders, Bonavacia, Haydock, Wilson, Coelho, Ingevoldsen and Sond. Going off nicely right on the inside. Kanyal of Spain to come past Dylan Borley. As we see Bonavacia in the orange and blue of the Netherlands, always with the shades on. Next, Haydock Wilson, the fastest in the UK this year, really establishing himself as a senior talent who will emerge down this home straight. Bonavacia with Kanyal just fading on the inside as Coelho in the green of Portugal starts to come through, and now Bendal Ingevoldsen left it oh so very late. 44.89 seconds. Well, another 400 metre championship record goes here. A tenth faster than Jonathan Borley all the way back in 2010. What an impressive breakthrough for this young Norwegian. It was on home soil in Oslo, 44.86. And he has produced that sort of form once again here in Poland.
So super running and good points.
Her compatriot Ingevoldsen home. Recent personal best 44.86. 200ths outside of it himself now, and reduces the existing championship record by 1100. So fantastic run there from the Norwegian. A few metres just to see who was going to come through. I wasn't by any stretch of the imagination sure that Ingevoldsen was going to make it. He left it very late indeed. I think he got past the two men on his inside with maybe 5 metres to go. You be the judge of that, but whatever way you view it, it was certainly an outstanding run from Ingevoldsen. all they need is 2 more members, and they've got a world-beating 4x400 metre team.
And the Norwegian flag is already out. Here is the full confirmed result. You can see that João Coelho of Portugal with that new national record in second, ahead of Bonavacia.
Ewa Swoboda, 2 weeks ago on this track, ran 11.03, a personal best, and she was absolutely flying. I watched that race, and she was in great form, and she loves competing here in the Silesia Stadium. From the inside as they settle into the blocks, Sidu, the Netherlands, Emanuelidou, Greece, Swoboda, Poland, Maya, Germany, Gandula, Portugal, Rossius, Belgium, Fry of Switzerland, and on the outside in lane 9, Williams of Great Britain. And Swoboda does get her usual lightning start. Sidu doing well in lane 2 as well. Swoboda, though, starting to pull away. Sidu challenging, coming through strongly at the end, Rossius, but there's no doubt at all. It was Ewa Swoboda, gun to tape, championship record unofficially, 11.09. Well, we've seen the times revised a little bit, but 11.09. And hardly any breeze on her back either, no help whatsoever. Terrific run from Ewa Swoboda.
So often we see those electric starts, so great over 60 metres, but held on for the 100, and 11.11 for a bit Luiza Gega. As we have a look at this replay, it was Seda on the inside going nicely. Rossius came through late in the white of Belgium from lane 7, but Swoboda just held on, licking her lips, determination through those last 20 metres to make it home first across the line.
We see results of the first heat. Ewa Swoboda 11.09. Now this is the man in form. Produced his Swiss record recently to 13.10. Lies second on the European rankings. Did that time in Florence at the Diamond League at the start of this month. And Joseph gets an excellent start. He's already clear of the rest of the field, and the Swiss hurdler is absolutely flying here. It's a battle for second place. Llopis at the moment doing very well. The Spaniard will take second, but 13.14 unofficially, a championship record. I said this man is in form and could challenge it, and he's proved to fulfill my prediction, and it wasn't a difficult prediction to make. I don't really claim great genius on that one, but Joseph, superb run from Joseph, and very pleasing in second place to see Llopis coming through after a dreadful fall and injury in the final of the European 60 metres hurdles when we were in Belgrade earlier this year. So the focus of attention quite naturally on the reigning European indoor champion, European under-23 champion from 2019.
He was in command, he was in control. I remember at one of those age group competitions he completely destroyed a hurdle by ripping the top of it, but very much once he got away, he just had the flow, he had the rhythm, and there was absolutely no chance of catching him. European outdoor 4th in Munich and indoor 5th. Perhaps, maybe, just maybe the favourite though is the Spaniard Mo Katia. Nader there in the green of Portugal, Niels Laros in the background, and given those victories that we've seen for Camilla Laus in the women's 800 metres, you almost feel like we need to be watching just who is a little further back, who might have so much to give and might still somehow time it right. So Katia of Spain, from Mills of Britain, then a Raising, who's just sneaking back through again, so he stays in contention. 2:43.63 at the bell. Nader looking to make it back-to-back wins, of course inside the stadium as well. Niels Laros, the youngest, of course, 18 years of age. 7 seconds improvement this year, fresh from that PB, 3:32 in Nice. last weekend, but Mo Katir is gritting his teeth. It's an Iberian battle all of a sudden, but for how long, I wonder? Laros up into third, Meals fighting to stay in contention, but too far back now surely. Still Katir against Nader, Laros fighting, but Mo Katir does hold on. 3:36.97 on the clock, and a key victory for Spain, another side in mid-table, and Katir has set a new championship record, also one that we weren't sure whether that was possible given the early pace, but ultimately so many of these men had gone faster than Jakob Alusa's record from 2014 of 3:37.74. Super impressive from Katir to hold off so many fast chargers behind.
And Katir even got that championship record slowing down over the last 5 metres as he knew he'd got the victory and gone past everybody. Here's a recap of the race. Well, Katir, we knew, I mean, he's the Spanish record holder over the 1,500 metres, 3,000 and 5,000 metres. In addition to him being a 3:28 man, he's also run 12:50 for the 5,000 metres. He really did have all the weapons in his armoury, and he's getting some very, very good results indeed.
Yeah, he kept his cool really as we look at this full result. Katir from Nader, from Laros, because at the very start of the race there was a lot of after you, you know, not my tactic, to lead from the front through those early stages.
The former European under-18 champion and a member of the victorious Italian 4x400 metres quartet at this event 2 years ago, Alessandro Sibilio. Well, Sibilio back in form after injury problems in 2022, starting very quickly as well. So too Watrin on the outside. And so it's the man in lane 9 and 8 at the moment who are leading the way. Schmidt, the Dutchman, in lane 5, having a good run. We seem to have lost the Germans somewhere. Anyway, Abuaku, I think, might have just pulled up. We'll wait and see. But at the moment, it's Sibilio out in lane 8, having a terrific run. Schmidt having a very good run indeed. At this stage, Schmidt might well be on for a personal best. Sibilio, though, looking strong, looking fit. And the Italian is really doing a fine job here of taking maximum points for Italy. 48.15, a championship record. He takes down that august mark of Karsten Warholm from 2017.
Let's have another look at this replay. Sibilio on the blue, or in the blue I should say, one from the outside, and then Schmidt in the centre trying to chase him down. Schmidt, who was in second place but in the old second division 2 years ago, and there is the German. Couldn't do what Carolina Krafzik did in the women's race, making it look very easy. Plenty of clearance off that hurdle. A nice close-up shot. Others battling behind. Watrin, who these days is a key part of Poland's relay quartets, doing well individually. And Seamus Derbyshire, the first major international senior call-up for him, actually beating Watrin in the closing stages to come third for Britain.
But there we have it. Alessandro Sibilio, 48.14. Nick Schmidt second, 48.95. Seamus Derbyshire, 49.51. The Republic have Matej Prisek on the lead-off leg. And it'll be Zilakova, Muller and Vondrova completing the Czech team. Ricky Petrociani, we've seen a lot of at European events in the last few years. Coming through very strongly, Ricky Petrociani. Switzerland have a very good men's 4x400 metre team with Spitz as well. So it's Muller, followed by Petrociani. Belgium still holding third place with the very experienced Dylan Borley, who's won many medals in Belgian 4x400 metre relay teams. Muller grimacing, but he does hand over in front to Lada Vondrova. Oh, and there's tumbling there, all sorts of chaos between the Finns and the Swedes. We'll unravel that later. That doesn't affect what's happening at the front though. Cynthia Belongo has really got up and is now motoring past her rivals. Belongo has just sped past Vondrova, the Norwegian Eriksson, and tagged on the back there. It's the Swiss runner Julia Niederberger, and Belongo just came out of that changeover and just went straight past the three women in front of her. But Lara Vondrova has got something in the tank still. Can Cynthia Belongo? Well, Belongo looks as though she's tying up. Belongo just had her first race over one lap of the track this year in the individual 400 metres, but Lara Vondrova comes through. 3:12.35 unofficially, and a championship record. And that also puts the Czech Republic up to 5th on the European all-time list. Big celebrations for Czech Republic.
And then you had this three-way battle at the front. And there is the baton going over for this final leg, in which Vondrova, the Czech Republic, and Belingo were particularly strong.
And this is the chaos with Sweden and Finnish runners falling to the track. Greece also, we didn't see what happened to the Greeks, but they were well out of it from the very early stages. Lada Vondrova gritting her teeth, the epitome of determination. She's not going to let this go. Czech Republic safe in the top flight of the European Athletics Championship. But pride at stake here, and she flies back past Cynthia Belongo, who did such a lot of hard work over the first 300 metres. There indeed are the results. Czech Republic 3:12.34, national record and a championship record for the Czechs, followed home by Belgium and Switzerland. And completing the lineup, coming off the back of his Slovenian record and world lead of 71.86 just 5 days ago, Christian Che. Doesn't really put much pressure on this man, Christian Che. Che winding himself up, unleashing it, and a roar from Christian Che. Emotion, and it is over the 70 metre mark without a doubt. Close to 71 metres, and it does get this time the white flag. He's just putting together such a magnificent series at the moment. And you just have to think, if you're in one of those arenas where there's a little bit of help for the discus, how far this 2 kilogram implement would have flown with that sort of throw. He just gets absolutely the right angle of release and a smile of contentment on the face. Well, I thought it was over 70 metres, but it extends his championship record to 69.94. Confirmation of the results in that very good quality discus competition. But there's no one there to challenge. Christian Che winning by exactly 5 metres from Andrius Gudzius of Lithuania.
There is Luiza Gega speaking afterwards after that 5,000 victory about how important it was to just put Albania on the map.
So that's a 3:05 kilometre after her. No, it was 3:02 and then a 3:09. So still very, very good running from Luiza Gega. And got her championship record of 9:23. Could be under danger. And I wonder, Alex, do you think she's got no pacemakers, she's got none of that wave-like technology, but she has got lapped runners to aim at, and that's certainly got to be an incentive for Gega as she moves through these laps.
Yeah, 100%, and no disrespect to some of the others in the field, but having to come to a complete stop just to get over some of these barriers, it really is a tough task. But Gega still with wonderful technique, closing stages, of this race. Trying to look out for Cohen, who is just rounding the top benches. She's going to come up into the water jump in a couple of seconds' time there.
Cohen of Israel, she's 10 seconds behind, which is fine. So yeah, that's very respectable. She came through 2 kilometres in 6:21. For a woman whose personal best is 9:29, that's brilliant. And Ava O'Connor is just making her way around with she's got a lap and a half to go as Luiza Gega's flown through the belt. She's just eyeing up the final 3 barriers and 1 water jump.
Well, always felt like a formality. Luiza Gega coming in with a season's best of 9:11 at the Florence Diamond League recently. 5,000 metre victory only cemented the likelihood that she would join Yvette Lelova-Colliot on 13 top 3 finishes at the European Athletics Team Championships, and a class above the field here through that final water jump, and then picks up the pace once more, eyes down at the track, and then looking towards this final barrier. Nothing can stop her now. Luiza Gega of Albania comes through to complete the 5,000 and now 3,000 steeplechase double in 9:17:30. So, breaking that championship record set 13 years ago by Yulia Zalipova.
You look at that water and say it might cool them down, but I bet it's I bet it's a good 24 degrees or something. That water, the temperature doesn't seem to really drop here overnight in Poland. Certainly not this week anyway. We are being told it's unseasonably warm conditions. Might be a tiny bit refreshing to get into that water, but not very much. Adva Cohen of Israel, this was really where she should finish on rankings, and she stuck to her task very well. Sub 10 minutes, 9:47 in these conditions for Cohen.
Confirmation of that full result. Luiza Gega, championship record performance, 9:17:31, half a minute ahead of Adva Cohen of Israel.